I'm really glad. I'm grateful that you were released from that. So that was angelic assistance. The angels were pulling you out of an entity that
Mhm.
was residing in you. And I was just telling Christian that these beings that are so angry, they're attracted to negative emotion, hurts, wounds, traumas. It's like a gateway for them. And they will step into you from behind and align their non-physical spines with your physical spine. And they kind of are now in you. The other thing I've seen a lot of is where demons are actually holding on to someone. The angels have taken me into the abyss, and there's, two tarry looking demons with big eyes holding on to a client or a student. That's
Mm.
how they trained me, was just pushing me into these situations. The angels would be holding on to me from this side, and then I'd be holding on to the client and be pulling, uh, or they just show me hundreds of different scenarios and different kinds of demonic beings, dark energies.
Mhm.
They're all so different. It's kind of a cast of characters, but it's all the energy of addiction. So
Mm.
it's really important to recognize that they use addiction to lure you into uh, slavery, basically. So you become a slave to them and a slave to your emotions, and your emotions keep you down. If they
Mhm.
can make you feel depressed and lower your vibration, they're winning their fight. And just so you know, God's not at war with the demons, but the demons are very much at war with God. They're trying to
Mm.
bring us all down. And there's the energy of hatred, of rage, of a rage against humans, because if they can bring us down, they win in their minds. Uh, it's one on God or one on Christ. So they're just constantly pulling. But the energy of addiction is one of their biggest tools. So when
Mm.
you feel yourself addicted to anything at all, like even just a coffee in the morning, I got to have chocolate. Devil's food cake gets its name for a reason. And
Mm.
then the drugs and the, addiction to sex or addiction to, I don't know, whatever it is, we humans, we get addicted to everything. It's a sticky planet. But as soon as we are doing things repetitively without thinking, that's what they want. Watch TV. You see people watching TV and they're actually deep in trance and their mouths are open.
Mm.
And that's perfect. Demons can just walk in. If they're watching a scary movie and they're just like, they're in trance, perfect. That demon can walk in and get a hold. But it's not a scary thing once you start to understand. They think of them as worker bees serving a lower lord, Lucifer to be specific, and they will do anything they can to achieve their mission, which is to bring you down. But once you realize that you have control over your own energy, that you are not only are you in charge of your own physical body and your emotional body, but you have a right to say no. No. And people that have been abused, have been abandoned, have been manipulated, they don't know their rights. They don't
Mm.
really know. Um, they have, what do you call it, boundary issues. So they kind of let
Mhm.
people lean on them a little much. Oh, okay, okay. Someone will prey on them and say, oh, you're so pretty. Oh, you're so not so nice. And you're like, oh, okay. So the door is opened in whatever way they can get you. But once you realize that you're a divine being and you have a golden white light that shines above you in all moments, it's like a spotlight on you and it leads to God. Everybody points to God. And once you realize your rights and that nobody dare violate you, no entity, no physical person, nobody. You are
Mhm.
within your rights to say no, energetically, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Then these things lose their power because somehow, some way, I had an opera singer who was a professor, guided he was a student with a class. And once I guided him into trance, this thing just came out of him, what was in him. And you wouldn't know it except he went into trance. And so I walked over and he was making all this noise and banging his head and his back against this rickety old wooden bench that I have, and it cracks every time. And I said, am I talking to B? I'll just say B. No. Okay. It's okay. I'm just going to go into trance. And so I told everybody, you're safe, you're secure, you're in control, relax. I'm going to go into trance and ask the angels how to assist. Angels just guided me into a very, very ultra deep state. And suddenly they were transporting me to where I could assist. And then I
Mm.
saw these things. I've seen a lot of them, but they don't have control over you um, unless you allow it. And we do, as kids, especially, allow it um, out of fear, out of programming, out of watching TV. Like they come through the internet. This one that was in the professor had come through a video game of all things. But
Mm.
video games put you in trance, right? You're just you know, as soon as you go into trance and there's a negative energy there, it can be a portal. But this is not to make you fearful. This is to make you courageous and realize when you are strong, when you're happy, when you're feeling good and you're confident and you are of love, they hate love. It's like, no, no, nobody can walk into you when you are solid, when you are glowing, when you are your own self spiritually. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. It does.